Good morning, everyone. I hope you are fit and fine. Today, in this video session, we're going to deal with a beautiful poem. Have you ever seen? The title of the poem is very suggestive, and here the poet used homographs. Homographs means two words that have the same spelling but have a different meaning. And of course, here you will get new figure of speech, that is puns. So puns is a figure of speech where a form of wordplay uses multiple meanings of a term or similar sounding words for humorous effect. So to create the humor, the poet is always using this figure of speech. The name of this figure of speech is pun. So here we are going to see the explanation of this poem through the graphics. So let's start with this particular poem. Have you ever seen? So in the first stanza of the poem, the poet said that have you ever seen a sheet on a riverbed or a single hair from a hammer's head? Has the foot of a mountain any toes? And is there a pair of garden hose? So here you can see beautiful rhythm because poet has created the rhythm with the help of the homographs. So let's see. Have you ever seen a sheet on a riverbed? So in the first stanza, the poet talks about a sheet for a riverbed and hair for a hammer's head. These words are puns, as a sheet here means a bed sheet and the riverbed means the bottom of the river and has no relation to a bed. So here we don't have any kind of the relation to a bed, but still remember he's using that have you ever seen a sheet on a river bed or a single hair from a hammer's head. So of course the top of the, so here you can see the surface of the river, and of course in the next line the poet said to us that or a single hair from a hammer's head. So here he has used, rightly used the hammer's head because on the hammer's head we don't have the hairs. So here he said that the top of the hammer is called the hammer's head, and the poets alternately talks about the human head and refers to hammer's head as hairless. So of course he's comparing the hammer's head with the human head, and this head is bald. It means we don't have the hairs on the head. So there is no any kind of the relation between the hammer's head and a man's head. But still he has used this humorous effect to attract the attention of the reader. So in the third line of the first stanza, he said that has the foot of a mountain any toes? It means he is now imagining that that mountain has the feet. And of course here he said that has the foot of a mountain any toes. So mountain don't have the toes because human beings have the toes. Mountains, these are the inanimate things and we don't have the toes to the mountains. So here he's saying that, and is there a pair of garden hose? So hose is such kind of the pipe. You can easily see here the pipe which is generally used to watering the plants, watering the garden. So here hose means a flexible tube, and at the same time hose is also has the second meaning that a pair of stockings or tights. So here he's beautifully used the homographs. So next, the foot of the mountain means the base of the mountain and has no relation to the human foot, and hence doesn't have the toes like the human foot does. So the poet further refers to a garden hose which is a flexible tube used to water plants that he compares to its homograph hose, which means a pair of stocking. So In the first stanza, he is asking the questions to the reader that have you ever seen such kind of the thing? Maybe a sheet on a riverbed, maybe a hair on hammer's head, maybe toes to the mountain, and pair of garden hose. So he's beautifully using his humorous sense. And of course, you would like to ask this question to the reader. And of course, the answer of each question is no. We don't see such kind of the thing on the mountain or maybe on the hammer's head. So, in the next stanza of the poem, the poet would like to ask you more questions. So, let's see. Does the needle ever wink its eye? Why doesn't the wing of a building fly? Can you tickle the ribs of a parasol or open the trunk of a tree at all? So, here the poet is using the example of needle, and the poet refers to the needle's eye and wonders if it winks like a human eye. So of course needle has the eye, but it doesn't winks like a human eye. But still he is asking the question that have you ever seen needle's eye with winking? But of course the answer is no. So in the next line, he is asking about why doesn't the wing of a building fly? Wings, wings means you all know it very well that wings of the birds. And here he is asking about the building's wings. Building wings are different and they are made with the concrete. And of course, these wings are not able to fly. But still, he is asking the question that why doesn't the wing of a building fly? So it's not possible for the building's wings to fly into the sky. But still he's asking the question. It means he's using beautifully the homographs to ask the questions which are actually different than the usual questions. And he's even asking that can you tickle the ribs of the parasol? Parasol here, this is a light umbrella generally used by the women. And here he's asking that can you tickle the ribs of a parasol? Tickle means gudgudana. Yeah, gudgudana. Okay. So can you tickle the ribs of a parasol? So it's not possible to tickle the ribs of the parasol. And he said that the ribs of the human body which we can tickle. But here these are the ribs of the parasol. So then he talks about the quality of tickling. So it's not possible to tickle the ribs of a parasol or open the trunk of a tree at all. And he's asking one more question with the help of the homograph. Trunk, you all know it very well that trunk has the two meanings. Trunk, this is the below part of the tree, and trunk means this is a suitcase or a bag. And of course, he's asking the question that is it possible to open the trunk of a tree? Because this is also a trunk. So here he is creating the humor, is creating the comic effect. And of course, it's not possible to open the trunk of a tree, but it's possible to open this trunk, right? So it's very important that poet is using his humorous sense to ask the different questions. And of course, we didn't see such kind of the things in our life because it's not possible to open the trunk of a tree. So this is all about the first two stanzas of the poem. The last stanza we will discuss in the next video. So here I would like to thank you, and of course stay safe, stay home.